Hello guys, Happy New Year. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jean-Marie, I'm a photographer. Today I have a guest. Please, can you introduce to the audience?
Yes, my name is Jolie Bwiza. I was born in the Congo and grew up in Rwanda and grew up in Kenya and Congo as well, so I am from everywhere.
Can you tell us your story? How did you went to America? What was the experience as an African?
So I went to America 10 years ago and it was beautiful and a little bit of culture shock because of the weather, the food, the people, the culture. So everything was different. But I was 17 at the time and I went to high school. And high school there is very hard because everybody knows everybody. So you're kind of like the outsider. And so it makes it even harder to know the language because everybody now is speaking English. Like you don't know anything, you know. And so to make friends was hard. But I ended up finding a friend from Congo. So we found out we had one class together. And the teacher found out that we was from the same place, even though we didn't have the same class like at the same time. And so we became friends. And so we started warming up and like became friends. And so we became each one's comfort. But overall, high school was harder the most. And when I started college, I knew that I didn't want to feel the same way I felt when I was in high school because I felt so bad all the time, you know, like because I didn't have community really, and so when I got to college, I was like I made it my goal to be happy and embrace who I was, and I made sure everybody respected me.
For us African, when you think America, it's the heaven on the earth, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how was what you expected in the reality?
So what I expected versus the reality.
Yes.
I am a very interesting person. I did not expect anything, but I expected a better life, you know. But I didn't think that there is somewhere I'm gonna go and get a lot of money. That I understood for some reason. When I got there, what was difficult was like to start embracing a new culture. First of all, I got really sick because I couldn't eat the food. The food was too sweet, and so the taste was different, and so I was having a hard time. And finding a job, I was 17 with no English. I was shy. I didn't want to start embarrassing myself at that point, and so the reality hit, but it also hit because I also didn't have a high expectation. People I left had an expectation, like what I was going to get and what I was going to become as fast as possible. And so that became a shock to them, but it also did become a shock to me, but I had to feel like someone is putting me, expectations over me without putting it on myself. So like to balance that was hard. Like I didn't know how to say like, no, like I don't have this, you know. Like,
yeah, like you have relative calling you, send me money, send me $100.
Yeah, exactly. Plus when at that moment when I was 17, I was in foster care. So foster care is like when you go, when you're not 18 yet. So the government system puts you in a foster care, so where you have a guardian, someone who guides you, and then they get a little money from the government for taking care of you and such a thing. And so for me, I only got allowance of $100 a month. And so someone asked me for money. I was like, you know, but I was a good saver. Like I like to save. Like I enjoy saving. Like I like to see my money, you know. So I used to take like at least $80 and I would save it. And I would use $20. So I would have to like take a bus to go places. And the bus, to buy the bus, it was not as expensive. It was, it was not a lot of money. And so it was like $2, and, you know, and I can use it all day long. Plus, I didn't go anywhere except going to school. So school bus was like around the corner. So people asking me for money, and sometimes I used to send, you know, my family. I would be like, okay, here's $300, here's $200. But I didn't know the value of the money at the moment. And so as soon as I started working, I was like, oh shit, like I can't send you any more money like that, because I thought, you know, I'm getting $100 free, you know, like I don't have to work for it. But then once you start working for it, it hits different. Like every penny feels different. Like you feel it in your heart. Like I can't just give you this money. Like, you know, I need to know what you're going to do with it, you know. And that's hard because you started like, people becomes enemy. You know, I remember there's a friend of mine asked me, like, the daddy was sick and blah, blah, blah. And I knew his daddy was also a lawyer. And I'm like, if your people don't have they have not have saved. I'm an outsider. We just went to school together. I don't have that, you know. And so to tell someone that, it's hard because she never talked to me again. So so what, you know, like I've learned also to embrace that. Like, you know, you don't want to talk to me, all right, cool.
Okay, you tell us, being an African, up to now, you've been traveling around the world and even living in America now. I think you're in America now. How do you see yourself in the society when you say you're from Africa?
Of course, it was hard because you want to fit in. When you're young, you want to fit in. You want to see, you want to be like her. You want to be like her. You want to be like him. You know, you want to fit in. But the more you want to fit in, the harder it gets. You know, because everyone has a different personality. So I was trying to fit in, but it was so hard. You know, and so being an African in America, it was hard until I became a little bit older. I was like, this is the best thing ever happened to me. And I'm African, I can speak more than 4 languages. Who are you to come and tell me that, you know, you are better than me? You are not. And then the other thing that made me be proud of who I was is because I used to have, like, I never had a white friend. Like, we were best friends. They only are friends when they want something from you. That's just the reality. It happens. And so when I found out that I was actually the best is when I would get like white kids, American kids, like don't know how to do math. They're like, can you help me? Like they don't know, like we used, my history class, we used to have like American map. And sometimes if you have a quiz, you have to like name all the states in there. So I used to study and put them in there and I knew how to do that. And then I'm like, this kid is an American, he's asking me, what's the state in this part? And I'm just like, bro, you're from here. You should know this, you know? And so it's very hard for a teenager to be in America, especially when you don't have a family. So like I went solo, so I was alone. So it was hard. And what made a little bit better, I found out a church that had a lot of Kenyans, and I had lived in Kenya, so it became a little bit better. And then the friend from Congo, and so he became popular at school because of soccer. So now I became a little popular because he was my friend. And people thought we were dating, so we started saying that we was cousins. And so that people can differentiate us and stuff. And so being a teenager in America was very, very hard. The first 3 years I wanted to come back, I was crying every day. But then I can't tell my African parents, they couldn't get it. Like, you're in America, why are you crying? You know, like I was like, I'm no fun. I don't want to hear that because then it broke me even more. So I embraced, I just cried on myself the first 3 years. But when I got to college, from there, I still had difficulties, you know, like language, because I studied political science. So everything that I was doing, it took me twice as hard as anybody else. Like, let me say we have a book. And this book, we have to read a chapter. Some people will take 30 minutes, they're through the chapter. Me, I'm reading over and over and over. It might take me 3 hours. And there is literally a spot where I used to sit studying, and people that I lived there, like, because everybody would see me midnight, 1 a.m., 3 a.m., I'm there. You know, because I had to put in more work. Not because I was black or anything. I didn't know the language. It was harder. But I didn't give up because I had a purpose, you know, like as an African being solo in America, you can just say, forget about this, I'm out. We can't do that, you know. I didn't have a room to do that.
How many jobs do you had at that time when you started working?
I had a small job in high school. It was like fixing computers for high school, you know. It wasn't that hard. It was just to change batteries or changing coding. It wasn't hard. And then after high school, when I started college, the college became harder because the homework is a lot. And I got a scholarship. I got a full ride scholarship. And that full ride scholarship, if you fail, it won't keep paying for your school.
Yeah, I know.
So I had to stay focused. So I never worked. I used to work only in the summer. So in my last year of college, that's when I was like, I had done all the hardest, you know, classes. So a friend of mine had a little company, just give me a small job, and then I worked there a little bit. And then my school also had a program, and it was to advocate for young women in college. So I was like, I enjoyed doing that. So I was like,
it was not just work; it was just something you loved.
So it was something I loved, but it was I got paid, so technically it was work, I guess. Oh. But it was like 3 hours. Or sometimes 2 hours a day, sometimes none. So it was like 3 days a week. So it wasn't like intervening anything.
Wow. So if you can tell people, what made you stay longer? Like there's homesickness, there's different culture. Why did you stay Why didn't you give up?
I couldn't. I didn't have a choice.
How?
You can't give up. You know, in this life, you can't. And there's no room for giving up. You know, Steve Harvey one time said, like, when you give up, there's no hope. Like, but when you keep doing something, you're like, oh, I hope one day maybe I might get to this. So like being solo in America and say, forget about this, I'm going to find money and get a job. I was like, till when? Till when are you going to do this, you know? And I knew that I would, even if I don't use what I studied for, the experience, the people, you know. When I went to school, it was a variety of cultures. I went with Samoans. I was with people from Asia. Like my roommate from my first year was from South Korea. I got to learn how to eat with sticks. You know, those little things matter.
I was living in South Korea.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really nice. Even if I don't use my degree, I'm gonna enjoy. Like the knowledge was tremendous. I can't say, you know, I can replace that with anything else. And so what I learned, the people, and knowing that you just can't give. You're an African. You're giving up. Where you're going? You know, home. I didn't know that. It's not like my family were millionaires. I'd be like, forget it. I'm coming home, and they have money. I can just get married and get everything. Yeah, you can't.
Wow.
Yeah.
The question is, as an African, do you think that there is anything you can change to improve? Like instead of sending other kid like you, old people to go to America, do you think there is a way we can have a conversation as an African to say that let's be in Africa instead of going outside?
Yes. I think that sending people there, I don't think it's a bad thing per se. I think that going there and learn different things and not being carried away of the other cultures is crucial, because this is the problem with the Africans. We go abroad and we start embracing other people's culture and we say, forget about mine.
Yeah.
And you will never see an Asian, an Indian going to America and become literally an American. The percentage is very small. And so they go with purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you see the highest paying jobs in America, it's the first top is Asians and Indians. Even white people comes after those cultures, because you know why? They stay focused. They don't let America distract them. They use the whole opportunity, like you said, the land of freedom. Or no, there is no. I don't believe in land of freedom in America, just because I've done political science, and I don't believe that. But the land of opportunity, I agree about that. But you have to stay focused, because in America, you can do one little thing, it will F you up for the rest of your life. And so you just have to be very cautious as, you know, as an African. Don't just, you know, I see we copy the wrong things. Every time an African is there, is talking, you know how they talk in the club, they're enjoying all this American popular music. Nobody listens to their music anymore, or, you know, like they just embrace that. But no one is taking the knowledge they have. The knowledge is being together. The knowledge of studying the things that will make you more money. The things that you know, I can take this course that can teach me how to do this and I can make more money. No, I'm focusing on the wrong things. All young people now, they want to be YouTuber and social media expert, but they don't know the other talents they might have. So they are wasting the good talent because they are so distracted into this, it's freedom 24/7. And then once you hit 40, it's like, shit, I don't even have a house. Like, I don't even have a car. Like, or I have a car and a job, and that's it, you know, like, because the job finishes. That's the only thing we don't understand, you know. So I really feel that it's not a bad thing to take Africans there, but it's also that how much are they contributing back?
That is the question.
And what is the knowledge are you gaining that is going to be generational, not just you?
Because the reason I'm asking this question, it's like whenever, like you say, we get a chance to go outside of Africa, we feel like this is goodbye. I'm not gonna come back.
Yes.
And then you go, you spend your energy, or reality hits you, realize the money you're making, it's not gonna be enough to be able to do anything else than just eat and sleep. Is it possible to have that conversation as young generation, as you've been living in America, if you could get opportunity to study and do whatever you see opportunity like in Africa, do you think, do we have to have that conversation? You've been there, other people went there, they never came back. Up to now, people are still willing to go and then stay.
I think we should have this conversation as often as possible, because the more you stay true to yourself, the more you become who you are and the purpose that God had got for you. Because I don't think they have something that powerful that we can't do.
Yeah.
But where are you doing it at? You see the culture, you see politics, you see economics, you see mentally, physically, people in Africa, we still want a luxurious life that we don't know how to create.
We need someone to help us.
And so when you live there, to come back, like for instance, like to come back and try to like change the narrative, it's so hard. It's damn hard. I tell you right now. Like when I came, I was like, I got so many ideas, but then when you see what it takes to get there, it's like, bro, why are you making this so hard? So I think that like we don't need to make these things that are not hard to be hard. Like it doesn't have to be that hard, It's an application of a certain thing, Make it as fast as possible. Like why are you making someone stay for a whole month, 2 months, or this one, I have to know someone, I have to, why send services? We still have a line from here all the way to, Nyarutarama, and in Nyamirambo there's a long line. It's like, let's start with these small services, so people are more like freely to come, because this is what I see abroad. They will tell you you're getting it or you're not getting it.
If it's a service,
it's a service you're looking for, and if it's a place you have to go and there is a lot of people. They create certain places where you don't have to stay there for an hour waiting on one service, that you're going to get an answer of no. and there is no clear information about in services. For instance, I was in Nairobi and I was trying to get a car. This fool let me sit down, have all this application, and they knew damn well they have no car. But they let me sit there, and because they didn't want to tell me the truth, they start saying, oh, I have a passport from America. There's no way they're going to trust me that I will bring the car back. Are you mad? Like, first of all, if you had the information, you are from abroad, there is no, you cannot have a car here. Good. You have to be a citizen of Kenya. Clear information, easy. I'm gone.
For me, it's okay, but the next generation.
Yeah.
Do you feel like if you have a child or a grand nephew, will you be willing to give them the same life you lived back there?
No, because I would like for them to have a better life. But let me tell you something. I want to live in Africa. I want to come back and live here and live a good life, because I think that like the land of Africa just gives you this energy that is just so rich that you don't find anywhere else. Like in America, it's just so loud, it's so wild, and I'm not saying it's bad, because it has raised me in another way. Have grown mentally and physically and emotionally from the experience I've gotten there. I think that like being abroad is not a bad thing, but also like being here after living abroad is not easy.
Yeah.
Because everything pisses you off. Like why are you standing and not giving me service? You're talking to your neighbor. Like, let's finish this. And so those little things irritate you. Like I got irritated so many times, because I'm giving you money and you're not even having a conversation with you. I can't even have welcome in. And I'm going to buy something that is, even if it's not expensive, the respect is not there. And so like, I feel like we need to have this conversation as often as possible, but also look in the country, like what is not going well? How do we change what's not going well? How do we send 5 engineers and come with knowledge how we can change things? How do we send a few politicians to learn certain things, how we can make our policy better? Because the things they have there is more of like, penetrates some classes, some class, But if we bring that here, that's why you see sometimes there's rich, or you're rich or you're poor.
Yeah.
Like it's very hard nowadays to have a middle class. That's why a lot of women are going into prostitution. They're doing, all this bad stuff that is happening to our young people. I'm advanced. We need to look at medical. You know, what kind of hospitals do we have? You know, how do we get it better? Okay, let's send 10 people to go study certain, you know, medication. We have herbs. We don't have to use all the white people medication. You know, how can we study herbs? How can we study all these things and bring it home? And then we have government that supports these young people that goes and bring the knowledge. But also know that I also know that a lot of white people comes here to steal the knowledge. So it's like it's per se, you know, like. But the thing we don't understand is we don't value our own knowledge.
Yeah, because
we value theirs, even though they took theirs from us.
Yeah.
And so you find that white people are being more, white people are being more appreciated. Like literally, I get so much respect once I show my American passport than I would get if I show my Rangamuno. Two different things.
It's mindset.
It's like
mindset.
So it's like, what's happening to us? You know, we have a problem of not liking ourselves, and nobody's gonna like us if we don't.
Yeah.
And so. That's what I understood when I entered college. I was like, nobody's gonna give me what I don't give myself.
Yeah, you have to value yourself. You have to know who you are as a person.
Yeah.
What you bring into the community. Because I feel like as an Africans, we have that mentality. We've been colonized. We've been told that we need someone to help us. So that mentality with our ancestor, with our grandfather or fathers, still in our mindset, thinking, we need someone to help us. We need someone to do this for us. It's why I feel like our continent, or in general, our character, it's not really strong enough.
Yeah, I think the mentality, you know, so we have to relearn that. And I don't understand why, because I mean, it's been so long.
Yeah.
So
what was the message? We can conclude for this. What is the message for the young generation, the people who think life is better outside of Africa, especially in America?
Live your truth. Be honest. Be kind and respect yourself. You will have a purpose in life. And God is going to bless you tremendously. And outside of your own self is always outside. It's never going to win over what's in you. And so home is home, always, all the time. And I don't want you to ever remember that when you're old. Don't ever do that, you know.
So are you planning to live in Africa, or just you only come and visit?
No, just give me enough money, I will come back. Just give me good allowance, I'll come back. I want to, I would love to, and that's my goal. And I want my kids, the future kids, to live home and enjoy it. And so we just need a lot of money. Just kidding. I still have the love for home. So,
What did you miss most when you were coming back?
Food. I ate a lot of sugar cane. I ate a lot of guava. I ate a lot of Urani Shimbo.
Imvanje.
I ate some fish. I missed like smoky fish. There's the one we have.
Sambaza?
No, there's the one we have in Congo. You don't get. It's so good. Mostly it was food, honestly, and the environment. The interaction with people is different from here and abroad, because everybody there is like chaque pour soi. Like, I'm doing my own thing, you do your own thing. But here it's like someone will hit you, they won't even say excuse me or I'm sorry or whatever. You know, it's just like you see the interaction with people, you know, and that was beautiful.
Thank you for coming to my show, and I hope I will see you again when you're coming back.
Of course. Thank you for having me. This was really fun.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys for listening. It was a good conversation with Jory. I hope to see you in another episode. Bye. My name is Jean-Marie. I'm a photographer.